So you see, when you go in for a breast MRI, the problem is that you've got to lie prone, and they've got you all cocked up because your boobs have to fall into what are called breast coils. And so those have to be at the center of the MRI machine, so you're kind of elevated up, and your legs are down, and they've got, so anyhow, it can get really uncomfortable lying on your belly for a long while. And you're in there for, like I say, almost half an hour while they image you without contrast, then they add the contrast, then they image you again, and you can't move because it'll misalign your images from before and after they add contrast, and so it can get really uncomfortable. When you go in for an MRI guided biopsy, you have to do the exact same thing all over again, but now what they do after they've added the contrast, and you think, this would normally be when you're done, they pull you out and they come in, and they have lined up through a little grid that they pushed against your boobs. They've lined up where they need to put in the little biopsy things. And so they pull you in, and they line them up, and they shove them in, they put you back into the MRI. And then they have to image you again to make sure that the tips of where they want to do the biopsy are lined up. And then they pull you back out. They actually take the biopsy and they put in the little clip markers that they would normally put in after a biopsy. Then you go back into the MRI machine, and at this point they've taken the biopsy, and technically you're actually bleeding while you're in the MRI machine again, and they image you one last time to make sure that the little markers are where they had done the biopsy and where the spots are that they were concerned about. And then they finally bring you out of the MRI machine one last time, and they get you out of that contraption and they get you up, and that's when the radiologist who has been torturing you for the last few minutes can now apply some pressure to your boobs. And so the real question is, while your doctor is holding to try and stop the bleeding so that they can treat that and bandage that up, is what kind of conversation do you have with your radiologist at this time? How about them bears? How about the weather? This is really awkward. Well, it's good that you don't have to hold pressure for more than 10 minutes. And then they put the skin glue on and send you on your way, a little bit bruised and battered from your experience with the breast MRI guided breast biopsy.